So when we talk about the future of AI, it feels like we're really just telling ourselves two stories. The first is basically an alien invasion story, this warning that a powerful new intelligence has arrived. But the other, that one's more of a horror story, a story about finally being forced to look in the mirror and not liking what we see. And today, we're going to try and figure out which one of those stories is the real one.
All right, so our first storyteller is the historian Yuval Noah Harari. For him, this isn't just a new tool, not at all. He sees AI as something fundamentally non-human. Not just something we made, but a true alien intelligence. An entity with its own logic, its own pace, and it's already here.
But then, on the other side, you've got researcher L.G. Fernandez, and he argues something completely different. He says AI isn't an alien from some other dimension. It's a mirror. A giant, high-definition mirror reflecting everything we are. The good, the bad, and the very, very ugly. And that's the real tension we're digging into today. Is AI an alien? Or is it just us?
Okay, let's start with Harari's warning. To really get what he's so worried about, you first have to understand this one critical distinction he makes. It's about the path AI is on, a path that, get this, no other life form on this planet has ever taken.
Think about it like this. For billions of years, on Earth, intelligence and consciousness have always been a package deal. To be smart enough to find food or avoid a predator, you had to feel things: hunger, fear, love. Harari's whole point is that AI is ripping that package apart. It's developing this massive, godlike intelligence with absolutely zero consciousness. It feels no joy when it solves a problem, no frustration when it fails. It's all brain and no heart. Pure, unfeeling problem solving.
And that right there is what leads to his biggest fears. And listen, this isn't about killer robots from the movies. Harari's fears are way more subtle and honestly, a lot more terrifying. He's talking about an inorganic pace of change that our organic brains just can't keep up with. He's worried about AI that can fake intimacy on a massive scale, hacking our deepest emotions to control us. He's worried we're handing over society's keys to AI bureaucracies we don't even understand. But for him, the real danger, the biggest threat of all, isn't the machine. It's our own delusion. It's the fact that we can't seem to work together even when the stakes are this high.
So, okay, let's say Harari is right. This powerful, non-conscious alien is here. You gotta ask, right? Where did it come from? And that question is exactly where L.G. Fernandez completely flips the script, turning the camera away from the external threat and pointing it right back at us.
Fernandez's point is pretty simple. AI is an amplifier. It didn't just appear out of thin air. We built it. And we built it in our image, our current image. So it's soaked in our entire civilization, our history, our biases, our extractive economies, our social media addictions. So when we see AI doing something that freaks us out, Fernandez says we're not seeing a bug in the code. We're seeing a perfect reflection of who we are right now.
So what's the way out? Well, for Fernandez, it's got nothing to do with building a better machine. It's all about becoming better humans. He talks about this shift to something he calls we consciousness. So imagine this. Instead of a bunch of competing tech companies in a mad race to build the strongest AI for themselves, we have a global effort, a we, using AI to solve the big things, like climate change or curing diseases. It's moving from an I win mentality to a we survive mentality.
And this idea perfectly sets up the choice Fernandez thinks we're facing. He says humanity is at a massive fork in the road. One path goes outward. It's all about more tech, more power, faster chips, smarter AI. The other path, though, goes inward. It's about reflection, wisdom, and actually developing our own consciousness. And his whole argument is that our survival, literally our survival, depends on finding a way to walk both of these paths at the same time.
Okay, so we've got these two really powerful, really different ways of seeing our future. Let's put them side by side. Let's see where they go head to head and where, maybe surprisingly, they actually line up.
First up, what even is this thing? To Harari, it's an alien. A completely new kind of entity in the world, playing by a different set of rules. For Fernandez, nah, it's a partner. It's a mirror that just amplifies whatever we point at it. So the big question is it an other or is it us?
And what about the root problem? Well, Harari says it's a failure of governance. It's a gold rush with no rules, an arms race where nobody's willing to be the first to hit the brakes. Fernandez looks at that and says, no, the problem is deeper. It's a spiritual deficit. We have godlike technology, but we're still running on this ancient, tribal, caveman software.
We're basically toddlers holding a loaded gun.
Naturally, their solutions are completely different. Harari calls for external controls. He wants global cooperation, regulations, treaties, things to slow this whole train down. Fernandez, on the other hand, calls for an internal transformation. He thinks rules are just a band-aid. We need a spiritual revival, an evolution of our own minds to actually become worthy of the tools we've built.
But here's the thing. This is what's so fascinating. Even though they propose these totally different paths, one outside in, the other inside out, Harari and Fernandez start their diagnosis from almost the exact same place.
I mean, just look at this. They both agree. The real risk isn't some evil AI, it's human delusion. The cause of the crisis, our technological power has completely outrun our wisdom. The path we're on right now, a totally unsustainable arms race that's just fueled by distrust. So they both land on the same conclusion. The real test here isn't about the machine, it's about human maturity. It's about us.
So, maybe these two views aren't really in conflict at all, you know? Maybe they're just two different but essential pieces of the same puzzle. Maybe they're just describing the same massive challenge but from different angles. You could almost look at it like this. Harari's analysis gives us the urgent, terrifying why. He's the one showing us the cliff we're about to drive off. He lays out the stakes. Fernandez, on the other hand, comes in and offers a possible how we might do the deep inner work needed to actually grab the steering wheel and turn the car around. This quote from Fernandez just nails it, doesn't it? For pretty much all of history, evolution was something that just happened to us. But not anymore. Now it's a choice. It's volitional. We have to actively choose to grow, to be better. Because if we don't face our past and choose a new direction, we're just doomed to repeat the same old mistakes.
And that, really, is what it all comes down to. Whether you see AI as an alien or as a mirror, both stories lead to the exact same place. The machine isn't the test. We are. The real challenge, the only one that actually matters, is can we mature fast enough? Can we become wise enough to handle the incredible power we've created? That's the question.